So we have just witnessed an epic match between England and Australia. 79 points scored. The Australians with the last minute try to win the contest. 42 points to 37. Now both of these sides had opportunities to win this game. England having a great start. Australia firing back to actually lead at halftime. And then the English, they had another momentum swing, but not quite enough to get themselves the victory. But in this review, we'll be looking through at a few of the stats, the players who stepped up, and then also what is next for these two sides as they are both in action for next week of November. But overall, Australia, the first half, they had some pretty decent stats in their favour. They had 57% of the possession, whereas England, they were able to bring that back in the second half, and we probably saw the stock standard early kicking from both of these sides, trying to play a bit of territory with the up and unders, but England striking quickly. 2 tries for Chandler cutting himself. But Australia, they had a debut. It was Joseph Sua'ali'i, and he also got himself a man of the match. He managed to get an assist in that first half, out wide to Tom Wright, and then we also saw the try for Harry Wilson later on in the half as well. But in terms of the numbers, 5 tries apiece for these two sides. We saw 541 metres carried for the Australians compared to 454 for England. And even though England did lose this game, they were actually putting out some really good numbers. 24 defenders beaten in this game, 35 for the Australians. Clean breaks, 13 for the Wallabies compared to the 6 of England. Having 6 clean breaks in a game is extremely impressive. And the fact that Australia were able to double that and add 1 to it just shows how open at times this contest was, but it definitely made for entertaining rugby. We hardly saw any lineouts throughout this game. When we did, I think England was slightly getting the better of them, although saying that, we also saw a really nice set play from the Aussies that led to Jeremy Williams scoring the try right in the corner. It was looked at a few times whether or not he did get that foot in touch or not, but the referee and the TMO decided that it was inconclusive and that the on-field decision was try, so that is what ended up standing. But overall, the other try scorers in this game, I mentioned about the 2 for Chandler cutting himself. We also saw 2 for Ollie Slateholme, who made his way off the bench multiple times. First of all, coming on for Boso, who needed an HIA. Then he made his way on for Ollie Lawrence, who needed an HIA. Then he made his way back on for Boso, who I believe got another HIA or might have had a shoulder injury in the process. And that was not the only one that we saw for the English. Also the injury of Tom Curry getting knocked out, which now means he will not be available for the match next week against South Africa. But Maro Itoje, he was the last try scorer for England, and that seemed like it was going to be enough. They were leading 37 points to 35. And with only a minute or so left on the clock, it seemed like it was almost a done deal. But Australia, they did not give up. They managed to get the ball back early, and the last minute try coming for the youngster Max Jorgensen, which helped Australia get the win. But also tries for Tom Wright, Harry Wilson, like I said, Jeremy Williams, and Andrew Callaway. So both of these teams getting 5 tries. The spectators, they would have been loving the back and forth. Of course, with this game being in England, probably not so much loving the result. But overall, just a really entertaining game of rugby, free-flowing, and both of these sides just put it on the line. Which now makes you wonder, how are they going to play next week up against different sides? For England, they are taking on the world champs, South Africa. That is going to be a tough game. Definitely, because if they are going to miss 35 tackles or so, those are the type of moments that the Springboks will cut them open. For the Australians, they are going on to face Wales, a side that they've had a couple close battles with in the past, recently in July. But I do think that Australia, the Principality, it is going to be a tough challenge, and I do think the Welsh will be up for the challenge. But Joseph Sua'ali'i getting man of the match. I think there were a few other Australians who really made an impact in this game. Tate McDermott, he came on for Jake Gordon when he was off for the blood bin and managed to get that first try assist. In terms of the back line, I think that Andrew Callaway was pretty solid overall, making some very important tackles. Same with Tom Wright, whose kicking game was solid. Also, for the English, Marcus Smith, what a blinder of a game he had. He couldn't have done much more, I don't think. out there on the field. George Furbank assisting nicely at number 15. And of course, the 2 tries for Chandler Cunning himself as well as Ollie Slateholm were a nice touch for this English outfit. Now, something that I don't think worked for England in this game was the switch in the midfield. Ollie Lawrence, for the last game up against New Zealand, he was at 12. He made the most tackles. He had a sensational game. This game, he was playing number 13 with Henry Slade moving to 12, and something about this backline just lost a little bit of its chemistry, and I don't know why it was. The fact that just switching 2 players, I didn't realise it could make so much of a difference, but it certainly did here for England, as at times, we hardly saw Emmanuel Fiuwaiboso while he was on the field outside of his HIAs. Tommy Freeman, we got to see a little bit of in the first half, but kind of disappeared as the match wore on. And then Furbank, of course, had to cover quite a bit at the back because of all the kicks that were coming from Australia, as well as the defenders beat him. But nonetheless, just a short little review of this game. What a match it was. Looking forward to both of these sides in action next weekend. I've already claimed that this game will be game of the weekend, and I feel like unless something magical happens in one of the other contests, that is exactly what it will be. But let me know what you think of this match. Let me know how you think these sides will be going next week as well. But I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all for the next one.